Hello and welcome to ATM World News. I'm Leah, and it's great to be with you, the viewers all around the world. Today we're going to be talking about Clean Slate Films and Brian Boswell, who's heading up this project. How you doing, Brian?
Doing great. How are you doing?
I'm hanging in there, and it's absolutely awesome to know that you're doing this with Clean Slate Films. It seems like it's something that is really, really needed.
I hope it's going to be huge, and I think it's really needed, just as you said. So the idea is, in say 3 years, I would love to have an option in every movie theater in the country for someone to go and look and see something that they don't have to be ashamed to bring people to. To go watch it. Although I am Christian, I'm not necessarily thinking Christian movies, but just clean movies, just movies that don't have garbage in them, kind of according to what they used to do in Hollywood, and the called the production code. A lot of people call it the Hays Code, but make movies like that, and then not only me making movies, but also opening it up to people across the country, because Hollywood doesn't have the death grip that they used to have on the industry anymore, because you can go out and rent cameras, buy cameras that are every bit as good as what they're doing in Hollywood right now. So and they've got such a huge firewall around them that anybody who wants to bring clean movies to Hollywood, they're just you're in this, it's such a noisy environment that you can't get your message through. I've got this great movie and people want to see it. So this is where Clean Slate Films comes in. I need to do a little bit of prep work, like creating a film that is clean and that has some clout to it. So once I do that, I'll make my movie. I've got one in mind actually, and I'm all ready to kind of pull the trigger on the movie. Once that goes out, I think it will open a lot of eyes as to that people can still make movies that are relevant, great stories, and very, very well executed, beautiful movies that don't have all the garbage in it. So I need to make a splash with my first movie. And then I'm going to open it up to people, like I said, all across the country. Everybody's got a film idea in them. And some people have already, gotten to certain stages. I've written a script, or I've actually produced my movie, but Hollywood won't touch it. What do I do? I will be opening Clean Slate Films as a distribution channel for people all across the country, so that we can get more movies on more screens, or streaming, or wherever they end up.
I think you're going to be a popular guy. I think there's a lot of people who have been really wanting to push their movie that would want to contact you on that. This
Very
leads
cool.
me
We
to
need,
my
yeah.
yeah. That leads me to my next question about what really brought you to the point where you're at now with Clean Slate Films.
Well, I've since I was a kid. I mean, I've just been a huge movie buff. I get that from my parents. I mean, I grew up in a home where it was my dad was a pastor, and so again, it was kind of we had there's a lot of garbage even in the 70s, 80s when I was growing up, um, and so we were one of the first people to get a VCR, and so. We recorded the movies from off of TV when they would have good movies come out. Record. I grew up on like Bob Hope movies and classics like that, and so I've never really left that love for really good cinema, really good movies, and it's just a shame that what Hollywood has come to these days, and so yeah, I guess that does that answer your question?
Yeah, it sounds pretty good. When we were talking earlier, you were talking about that you were able to get a couple of the old radio stars for a project you're
Right.
doing.
Right. Another one of my loves is old time radio from the again 40s, 50s. And so this first movie is actually that I'm making is based on an old radio show. The show is called The Whistler, and one episode of that in particular stood out to me. And so what I did was I turned it into a script, and this has been like 8, 10 years now in the making. turned it into a script. Again, I tried to get into Hollywood. Nothing happened. So I just felt a leading from the Lord saying, you need to make this movie. And so I polished it. I sent it out to lots of people in Hollywood that I had small inroads here and there because I'm kind of in the industry. And so I've gotten great feedback from people in the industry, but of course they don't, not everybody has the money to make it happen or to help out. And so I just started developing it myself, producing it myself. And I'm kind of to the point now where it's time to, like I said, pull the trigger. It was based on an old radio show, as I said. And so there are still precious few actors from that era that are still with us. Two of them are Tommy Cook and oh no, I'm so sorry, I've forgotten her name. Ann Whitfield. And so Tommy Cook, you may know from, if you're an old-time radio buff, Tommy Cook played Little Beaver in the radio show Red Ryder. And so Red Ryder, if you remember A Christmas Story with it was back from the 80s, the Red Ryder BB gun is actually is a throwback to the Red Ryder radio show. And so one of the actors who played Little Beaver, he was a kid actor back in the day, but he's gone on, he's got hundreds of credits now to his name in TV, film, and whatever, named Tommy Cook. And he has agreed to be in my movie, a small role. He's really excited about it. Ann Whitfield, as I mentioned, now she was in a radio show, the Phil Harris, Alice Faye radio show. She played one of the two girls, their children. And she's also agreed to be in my movie. So now, I mean, they're from that era, they're not getting any younger. And so now I'm kind of at the place where I need to start, the ball rolling. And I'm ready to do that. So yeah, it's been a real exciting couple of months here getting those agreements.
I can imagine. I know we have a mutual friend in Ken Tucker and his AKA Stormy Blue, and
Yes.
he's got quite a life story. And I know that you're seeking funding for that one. And
Right.
Can you tell us a little bit about your fundraiser in general for Clean Slate?
Yeah, right. So again, I am very, very introverted, very backward, and I'm not one who can just, go up and talk to people and ask for money. So it's really a tricky thing. Both these movies, I'm doing the documentary Ken Tucker, and then my feature film from the radio show. And so I've tried Kickstarter, but I don't have a lot of, I'm not one to just go out and talk about myself and brag about myself and, look at what I've done, look what I can do. And so that's a bit of a hindrance to me. But fortunately, Ken has a huge network of friends. He's not at all afraid to say, hey, this is awesome, check this out. So what we're planning for Ken's film, for the documentary called Stormy Blue, we are going to start a Kickstarter campaign to raise funds for that film. And so that's probably my next step there. And again, it's tricky. It's hard to get good films made. So yeah, we're really going to be kind of pushing for some money these days pretty soon. And I'm not real comfortable with that.
If somebody wanted to contact you, where do they go? What's your website?
That website is cleanslatefilms.com. And I'm also on Facebook and Twitter. If you just do a search for Clean Slate Films, it's kind of funny. There is an Indian company from India who came along after I created Clean Slate Films, and they started a company also called Clean Slate Films, but their little symbol is like a little zebra. So if you see a zebra, it's not me. But cleanslatefilms.com is definitely me, and that should be pretty easy to find. So, and you can contact me at Brian, Brian, at cleanslatefilms.com.
I understand that. When I first started ATN World News, I was going to just call it ATN News, but India already had that. So I said,
funny,
let's put a globe in there. We'll call it ATN World News
There you
to
go,
make
right.
it separate, But some people go to look me up and they go, Are you filming stuff in India? No. And so I understand you about having that in India having a name.
Right. Yeah, it's funny
Anyway.
because they actually had to change their name because of me. So they now have a Z at the end of their name. Please say
Oh,
films. So,
yeah,
but
yeah.
she actually the woman who started that is a very famous Indian actress. So I think I'm kind of feel like I've done well by keeping my place there on the web.
Well, that's good. Listen, I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule
My
to
pleasure.
come and let us know what you're doing. Thank you so much. Until
Well,
next
thank you very
time,
much. I appreciate the
yeah.
interview.
Until next time, I'm Leah reminding you that God loves you.